I'm Rosa Mendez, and I'm here at the #1 Long Island broadcast, Monty and Pharaoh. I had the best time ever!
Hey, listen, Daddy, you're listening to the #1 broadcast, Monty and Pharaoh, Daddy, in Long Island. The best pro wrestling broadcast of all time, I think.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, man, it feels good to be back on YouTube. It was quite disappointing what happened to us, but we bounced back fairly quickly.
Well, what else would we do? We're almost at 5,000 subscribers.
Well, speaking of that, man, we need more members.
Okay.
What do you think we need to do to get the people of those 5,000 subscribers to come on and join the team as a Monty and the Pharaoh member?
Nudity is out of the question. Any other ideas?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do have a few ideas.
Well, just like Prel, they should tell 2 friends, and they could tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Check out all our content.
But that's, you know what? That's why you're the star of the show, because guess what? Members get special content. Even we spoke about it. Pharaoh came to me one day and he goes, man, what's the deal? I can't even watch some of these videos because I'm not a member. And I said, there you go, Pharaoh. You got to be a member because this is what the members get. They get free content
Nice.
that none of the other fans that watch this show get.
That's right.
You get free autographs from some of these wonderful stars that come in, right?
Nice.
All you do is you go to the MNP webpage, or right, our own page, and shoot us an email and say, hey, man, I want a picture of Tommy Rich. I want a picture of whatever. And boy, that's on its way.
We give them their choice.
That's right.
We rock.
We do rock.
And you need to rock, too. Join. You probably would have had to deal with, no?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
There's definitely a correlation between the two.
Oh,
rock
yeah. I
and
mean,
roll.
the lifestyles were very similar as well.
Yeah, I could see that. How about when you first do start breaking in Smoky Mountain Wrestling with Jim Cornette? Tell us all about Jim Cornette.
Oh, I love Cornette. But yeah, I mean, I didn't just start in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I mean, there was a lot of horrible outlaw bullshit before I was able to hook up with Cornette. But Cornette was, Smoky Mountain was the first place I worked where I was consistently around people who all knew what they were doing. And instead of it being an indie show where somebody brought in 2 guys on top and everybody else was a jabroni who didn't know what they were doing, there was cohesion here, and I started to get a better picture of how the business worked, you know.
Sure.
And he put me with a mummy, Prince Karras, which was not how I wanted to make my television debut.
A mummy.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
mummy.
because I was always a fan of monsters and whatnot as a kid,
Yeah.
you know, I dove in, and because I didn't know what I was doing really at the time, I just spent every moment on air trying to be as vulgar and obscene as I could and letting my promos fly over the heads of the hillbillies that watched the show. But it was a great learning experience.
Now, how much input did Cornette have into your first character?
He told me that I was going to be called, well, he didn't even change my name. I was called Daryl Van Horn at the time. He made me put on a fez and sunglasses like the old Abdullah Farouk Grand Wizard deal did with the original Sheik in Detroit. Don't turn your head too fast, Pharaoh. If you value your ears,
I thought I was working on a
Max
good pace.
will
I'll
go after
reevaluate.
appendages. Be careful.
You notice I'm frozen.
But yeah, and then he would just give me bullet points, and I would take the bullet points and weave all of my filth into it. You know, looking back at it, it was great performance art. There were a lot of mistakes in terms of how to sell a wrestling character because I was more trying to show off and show how clever and dirty I could be. But some of it still stands up. And here, 30-something years later, I'm occasionally now pulling some of those old chestnuts out and dusting them off and reusing them because I figured, if Ric Flair could do the same promo every night for 40 years, I can pull out a one-liner or 2 from 30 years ago.
Well, certainly you're one of the great talkers of all
thank
time.
you.
You should be very proud of yourself. I want to bring it back to Max a little bit. So we
Yeah.
talked about Camille, and I always felt Camille. Well, am I wrong for saying this? Is the ultimate goal to get to the World Wrestling Federation, or is the group of we had Masters in here, and he was very complimentary over the NWA, and he really felt like, because I'll just talk personally for both of us. When
Sure.
it first came out, we loved it, right? Had the old Dawkins song opening it up. It had that
Yeah.
old Georgia Championship wrestling
Yeah.
feel.
Right.
Then Corrigan kind of made a right turn somewhere, and COVID hit and things like that. And you said you think the NWA could, but is the ultimate goal for Camille or a Max to hit the pinnacle of the WWE, or is it the pinnacle is to get the NWA
I would
where
love
you think
to.
it needs to be?
I would love to see Max hit Rhea Ripley. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that match? Holy
Well,
cow.
right
That's the
now the
first thing I
ultimate
thought
goal is to get to the top of the NWA. Max has recently signed with NWA, so anything else is a moot point at the moment. You know, so
Max would whoop. Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
yeah,
Whoop.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, James,
There are some asses in WWE that need to be kicked.
I'm
by
sure.
Max.
you ain't kidding.
Any in particular you could think of?
I won't mention them.
Oh, boy. Let them worry about
They
it.
know who they are.
Let them worry
James,
about it.
I'm pretty tough on Dutch Mantel, right? I think it's maybe it's a mustache
Pretty
or
tough.
what. I don't know what it is, the hair on his back or whatever else.
Yeah,
Though.
yeah.
But how was he towards you at Smoky Mountain?
He was super towards me in Smoky Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, really. You know, I was a green asshole in there, and he was helpful. He was very instrumental in getting by my push in Impact TNA back in the day when he combined me with Abyss. So I have nothing but good things to say about it.
Did you know you were on the right track, though? You did fill us in a little bit that there was a lot of horror show bullshit to get through before you got to Cornette.
Yeah.
But did you know you had gotten somewhere at that point when you did get to Jim? I mean, it's Jim Cornette.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It
got to
was-
know the hard work had to be worth it.
Oh yeah, I was breathing a completely different oxygen, and
Right,
was
right.
really kind of walking around on a natural high.
Right.
You know, like wow, I'm actually working with people on TV that I've watched.
And may actually know
kid.
what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet, sweet.